High above the blue and green planet, the massive alien warship loomed like a dark shadow against the stars. Its occupants, a highly advanced civilization from a distant galaxy, had detected the primitive signals emanating from the small world below. To them, the inhabitants of this planet were little more than ants, their feeble attempts at technology barely registering on the alien sensors. The alien commander, a being of immense arrogance and confidence, summoned his lieutenants to the bridge. "So this is the mighty Earth that our scouts have been monitoring," he sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "Such a pathetic, backward civilization. Their so-called weapons are no match for our superior technology." One of the lieutenants, a younger and more cautious alien, spoke up. "Commander, perhaps we should proceed with caution. These humans may surprise us." The commander let out a booming laugh that echoed through the command deck. "Surprise us? Impossible. Our weapons can reduce their entire cities to ashes in the blink of an eye. We shall make first contact, and then we shall subjugate these humans and add their world to our empire." With that, the alien commander ordered his forces to prepare for descent. Hundreds of sleek, advanced spacecraft detached from the mothership, their thrusters igniting as they began their journey toward the unsuspecting planet below. On Earth, the leaders of the various nations were alerted to the presence of the alien vessels. Panic and fear gripped the populace as the government scrambled to mobilize their military forces. However, in the face of such overwhelming alien technology, many believed that resistance was futile. But one man, a seasoned military strategist named General Alexander Blackwood, refused to accept defeat. Summoning his top commanders, he laid out a bold plan. "Gentlemen, the fate of our world hangs in the balance. These aliens may have superior firepower, but they know nothing of our resolve, our determination, or our willingness to defend our home." Blackwood's eyes burned with a fierce determination as he continued. "We may not be able to match their technology, but we can outsmart them. We will lure them into our traps, we will use their overconfidence against them, and we will show them that the human spirit cannot be broken." The other generals exchanged uncertain glances, but Blackwood's unwavering confidence was infectious. Slowly, they began to nod in agreement, their own determination kindling as they realized the gravity of the situation. As the alien ships descended upon the major cities of the world, the human military forces braced themselves for the coming conflict. They knew that the fate of their planet rested on their ability to withstand the alien onslaught, and they were determined to prove that the tiny army of Earth was anything but insignificant. The alien spacecraft descended upon the major cities of Earth, their sleek, advanced designs a stark contrast to the humble buildings and infrastructure below. The alien commander, his arrogance undiminished, gazed down at the pitiful human defenses with a sneer. "Release the ground forces," he ordered, confident that his troops would make quick work of the primitives. "Let us show these humans the true power of our civilization." Thousands of alien soldiers poured out of the ships, their weapons gleaming in the sunlight. They advanced with an air of superiority, certain that their superior technology would easily overwhelm the human military. But as they approached the first line of defense, they were met with a barrage of firepower that caught them by surprise. The human soldiers, led by General Blackwood, had been waiting for this moment. They had carefully studied the alien technology and devised countermeasures to neutralize the invaders' advantage. Tanks, armored vehicles, and advanced air power unleashed a devastating assault, punching holes in the alien formation and forcing them to retreat. The alien commander, his face twisted in a mix of shock and fury, watched as his troops were repelled. "Impossible," he roared, slamming his fist against the control panel. "How can these backward humans be matching our weapons?" One of the lieutenants, his voice trembling, dared to speak up. "Sir, it seems the humans have developed some highly sophisticated technology of their own. Their tactics and firepower are far more advanced than our intelligence had indicated." The commander's eyes narrowed as he considered this new information. "Then we shall simply overwhelm them with sheer numbers," he declared. Send in the heavy assault units and crush these insolent humans once and for all. As the alien reinforcements poured onto the battlefield, the human forces found themselves outmatched in terms of raw numbers. Blackwood's troops fought with unwavering courage, but they knew that they couldn't hold out against the endless stream of alien soldiers. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a series of powerful explosions rocked the alien lines. Tanks and armored vehicles had been rigged with advanced explosive charges, and as the aliens advanced, the traps were triggered, decimating their ranks. The alien commander watched in disbelief as his troops were torn apart by the unexpected human ambushes. His confidence slowly began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of unease. How is this possible?" he muttered, his voice laced with uncertainty. "These humans are not the primitive fools we thought they were." As the battle raged on, the human forces continued to employ cunning tactics and innovative weaponry, steadily pushing back the alien invaders. The commander realized, to his growing horror, that he had severely underestimated the resolve and ingenuity of the human race. With his army in disarray and his plans unraveling, the alien commander knew that he would need to report back to his superiors with a most unexpected and troubling assessment. The humans were far more formidable than they had anticipated. As the battle between the alien invaders and the human defenders raged on, General Blackwood knew that they could not sustain their current level of resistance for long. The sheer numbers of the alien forces were overwhelming, and his troops were being pushed to their limits. Gathering his top commanders, Blackwood laid out a bold new strategy. "Gentlemen, we've proven that we can match the aliens' technology, but they still have the advantage in manpower. We need to find a way to even the odds." One of the officers, a brilliant young strategist named Captain Emily Vargas, spoke up. "Sir, I've been analyzing the alien troop movements and communication patterns. I believe we can disrupt their coordination and divide their forces." Vargas outlined a plan that involved using advanced electronic warfare systems to jam the aliens' communications and navigational abilities. "If we can sow confusion and chaos within their ranks, we may be able to pick them off one by one," she explained. Blackwood nodded, his eyes gleaming with a newfound determination. "Excellent work, Captain. Implement the plan immediately. I want every available resource devoted to this mission." As the human forces put Vargas' strategy into motion, the results were swift and devastating. The alien troops, suddenly cut off from their command structure and unable to coordinate their movements, found themselves at the mercy of the human military's relentless onslaught. Tanks and aircraft unleashed a barrage of firepower, while infantry units executed precision strikes against isolated alien patrols. The tables had turned, and the humans were now the ones dictating the flow of the battle. The alien commander, his face twisted in a mask of fury and disbelief, watched helplessly as his forces were systematically dismantled. "How dare these primitive humans defy us?" he roared, slamming his fist against the bulkhead. One of his lieutenants, his voice trembling, dared to speak up. "Sir, it appears the humans have developed advanced electronic warfare capabilities that are disrupting our communications and control systems. We're losing the ability to coordinate our troops effectively." The commander's eyes narrowed as he considered this new information. "Then we shall overwhelm them with sheer numbers," he declared. "Summon the main invasion force. I want every available unit on the ground, crushing these insolent humans once and for all." Back on Earth, Blackwood and his commanders saw the alien reinforcements pouring in and knew that they had to act quickly. "This is our chance to turn the tide of this war," the general said, his voice filled with determination. "Captain Vargas, coordinate with our strategic missile teams. I want every available warhead primed and ready to fire on my command." As the alien invasion force advanced, the human defenders unleashed a devastating barrage of precision-guided missiles, targeting the alien ships and ground-based command centers. The explosions rocked the alien ranks, sowing chaos and confusion in their ranks. The alien commander, his once arrogant demeanor now tinged with panic, watched helplessly as his forces were decimated. "Impossible," he cried, his voice cracking with desperation. "How can these insignificant humans be defeating us?" One by one, the alien units were either destroyed or forced to retreat, their communication and coordination in complete disarray. Blackwood's troops, emboldened by their newfound success, pressed the attack, using a combination of advanced weaponry and cunning tactics to push the invaders back. As the sun began to set on the battlefield, the alien commander realized that his grand invasion was crumbling before his eyes. Swallowing his pride, he ordered a full retreat, his battered and demoralized forces limping back to their ships. Blackwood watched as the alien vessels rose back into the sky, their retreat a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human race. A small smile played on his lips as he turned to his commanders. "Gentlemen, we've shown these aliens that the tiny army of Earth is not to be underestimated. Now let's prepare for the next phase of this war." With a renewed sense of purpose and determination, the human forces began to regroup, already planning their next move against the alien invaders. The tide had turned, and the fate of the world now rested in the hands of these courageous defenders of humanity. The alien commander, his pride wounded and his forces in disarray, returned to his homeworld with a report that shocked the entire alien civilization. The primitive humans had not only resisted the initial invasion, but had managed to push the mighty alien army back. The alien leadership, once confident in their ability to subjugate the Earth, was now filled with a growing sense of unease. How could these supposedly inferior beings have thwarted their carefully planned invasion? Determined to preserve their galactic dominance, the Alien Council convened an emergency meeting. After heated debates and strategic discussions, they reached a consensus. They would send an overwhelming force to crush the human resistance once and for all. "We cannot afford to underestimate these humans again," the lead counselor declared, his voice stern and resolute. "Mobilize our entire invasion fleet. We will descend upon their planet with such might that they will have no choice but to surrender." Within a matter of weeks, the alien armada assembled, its vast fleet of warships and ground forces dwarfing the initial invasion force. The commander, his confidence restored, oversaw the final preparations. "This time, there will be no retreat," he told his lieutenants. "We will obliterate every last trace of human resistance and claim this world for the glory of our civilization." Back on Earth, General Blackwood and his commanders watched with growing concern as the alien ships began to descend upon the planet. They realized that their previous victories had only been a temporary respite, and that the true might of the alien civilization was now bearing down upon them. "They're sending everything they have," Blackwood said grimly, his brow furrowed in deep thought. "We simply don't have the resources to match them in a direct confrontation." Captain Vargas, the brilliant strategist, stepped forward. "Sir, I believe we can still turn this to our advantage. If we can lure the alien forces into a carefully prepared trap, we may be able to cripple their invasion." Blackwood listened intently as Vargas outlined her plan, his eyes widening with a mix of trepidation and cautious optimism. "It's risky," he acknowledged, "but if it works, it could give us the edge we need to survive this onslaught." With no other viable options, Blackwood and his commanders set the plan in motion, mobilizing their forces and preparing the necessary defenses. As the alien ships descended upon the designated target zones, the human forces stood ready, their weapons primed and their nerves steeled. The alien commander, confident in his overwhelming numerical and technological superiority, ordered his troops to advance. "Crush these humans," he bellowed, his voice echoing across the battlefield. The alien forces surged forward, their weapons unleashing a devastating barrage upon the human positions. But as they pushed deeper into the targeted areas, they began to encounter unexpected resistance. Seemingly harmless structures and terrain features suddenly erupted in explosions, tearing apart their ranks. Confusion and panic gripped the alien commander as his troops were caught in a series of carefully orchestrated ambushes. Tanks and armored vehicles were immobilized by advanced mines and electromagnetic pulse weapons, while airborne forces were brought down by precision-guided missiles. "What is the meaning of this?" The commander roared, his face contorted with rage and disbelief. "How dare these humans defy us?" Blackwood, watching the unfolding battle from a command center, couldn't help but feel a sense of grim satisfaction. "Now, Captain Vargas," he said, his voice calm and steady. On Vargas' command, the human forces unleashed the final phase of their plan. A devastating barrage of electronic warfare and jamming systems that crippled the alien command and control network. The invaders, suddenly cut off from their reinforcements and unable to coordinate their movements, found themselves trapped in a nightmare of their own making. The alien commander, his once formidable force crumbling around him, had no choice but to order a retreat. As his battered ships limped back into the sky, he knew that he had severely underestimated the tenacity and strategic brilliance of the human race. Blackwood watched the alien vessels disappear into the distance, a grim smile playing on his lips. "The tiny army of Earth has won another victory," he said, his voice tinged with a mixture of relief and determination. "But we know they'll be back. We must prepare for the next phase of this war." With a renewed sense of purpose, the human forces began to regroup and fortify their defenses, knowing that the true test of their mettle was yet to come. The fate of the world hung in the balance, and they were determined to prove that the human spirit would not be broken, no matter the odds. The alien commander, his pride shattered and his forces in disarray, returned to his homeworld with a grim report. The primitive humans had not only resisted the initial invasion, but had managed to inflict a devastating defeat upon the mighty alien army. The alien leadership, once confident in their ability to subjugate the Earth, was now seized by a growing sense of unease and uncertainty. How could these supposedly inferior beings have outmaneuvered and outmatched their superior technology and numbers? Determined to salvage their plans for conquest, the Alien Council devised a new strategy. They would amass a truly overwhelming force, one that would crush the human resistance once and for all. With the full might of their civilization's military might, they would leave no doubt about the futility of the humans' defiance. As the alien armada descended upon the planet, General Blackwood and his commanders knew that they were facing a seemingly insurmountable challenge. The sheer scale of the alien invasion force dwarfed anything they had encountered before. "We simply don't have the resources to match them in a direct confrontation," Blackwood admitted, his brow furrowed in deep thought. "If we try to stand against them head-on, we'll be crushed." Captain Vargas, the brilliant strategist, stepped forward with a bold plan. "Sir, I believe we can turn the aliens' overconfidence against them. If we can lure them into a carefully prepared trap, we may be able to cripple their invasion force." Blackwood listened intently as Vargas outlined her strategy, his eyes widening with a mix of trepidation and cautious optimism. "It's risky," he acknowledged, "but if it works, it could give us the edge we need to survive this onslaught." With no other viable options, Blackwood and his commanders set the plan in motion, mobilizing their forces and preparing the necessary defenses. As the alien ships descended upon the designated target zones, the human forces stood ready, their weapons primed, and their nerves steeled. The alien commander, confident in his overwhelming numerical and technological superiority, ordered his troops to advance. "Crush these humans," he bellowed, his voice echoing across the battlefield. The alien forces surged forward, their weapons unleashing a devastating barrage upon the human positions. But as they pushed deeper into the targeted areas, they began to encounter unexpected resistance. Seemingly harmless structures and terrain features suddenly erupted in explosions, tearing apart their ranks. Confusion and panic gripped the alien commander as his troops were caught in a series of carefully orchestrated ambushes. Tanks and armored vehicles were immobilized by advanced mines and electromagnetic pulse weapons, while airborne forces were brought down by precision-guided missiles. "What is the meaning of this?" the commander roared, his face contorted with rage and disbelief. "How dare these humans defy us?" Blackwood, watching the unfolding battle from a command center, couldn't help but feel a sense of grim satisfaction. "Now, Captain Vargas," he said, his voice calm and steady. On Vargas' command, the human forces unleashed the final phase of their plan, a devastating barrage of electronic warfare and jamming systems that crippled the alien command and control network. The invaders, suddenly cut off from their reinforcements and unable to coordinate their movements, found themselves trapped in a nightmare of their own making. The alien commander, his once formidable force crumbling around him, had no choice but to order a retreat. As his battered ships limped back into the sky, he knew that he had severely underestimated the tenacity and strategic brilliance of the human race. Blackwood watched the alien vessels disappear into the distance, a grim smile playing on his lips. "The tiny army of Earth has won another victory," he said, his voice tinged with a mixture of relief and determination. "But we know they'll be back. We must prepare for the next phase of this war." With a renewed sense of purpose, the human forces began to regroup and fortify their defenses, knowing that the true test of their mettle was yet to come. The fate of the world hung in the balance, and they were determined to prove that the human spirit would not be broken, no matter the odds. The alien commander, his battered fleet limping back to the homeworld, was met with a mixture of shock and outrage from the alien leadership. Their carefully planned invasion had been defeated, not by a superior military force, but by a supposedly primitive civilization of humans. The leader of the alien council, a wise and calculating being, summoned the commander to a private audience. "Explain yourself," he demanded, his voice tinged with barely contained fury. "How could you have failed so spectacularly against these insignificant humans?" The commander, his pride still bruised from the defeat, struggled to find the words. "My lord, the humans were not as primitive as our intelligence had indicated. They possess advanced technology and tactics that we did not anticipate. Their ability to disrupt our communications and neutralize our numerical advantage caught us by surprise." The council leader's eyes narrowed as he listened to the commander's report. "Unacceptable," he said, his voice dripping with disdain. "You had the advantage of superior numbers and firepower. How could a mere handful of humans have thwarted our invasion?" The commander swallowed nervously, knowing that his failure could have dire consequences. I do not have a complete explanation, my lord. The humans seem to have been holding back their true capabilities. Their strategies and weapons were far more advanced than we had been led to believe." The council leader leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled thoughtfully. "This is most troubling," he murmured. "If these humans possess such formidable technology and military prowess, then our assumptions about their civilization may be gravely mistaken." He turned his gaze back to the commander, his expression stern. "I want a full investigation into the human race. Gather any and all information you can about their history, their culture, and their true capabilities. We must understand what we are truly dealing with here." The commander bowed his head, a sense of dread washing over him. "It will be done, my lord. I will not rest until we have uncovered the truth about these humans." As the investigation began in earnest, the alien researchers and analysts pored over every scrap of data they could gather about the human civilization. Reports from the failed invasion, intercepted communications, and even surreptitious observations of the planet's activities were all carefully scrutinized. What they discovered was both fascinating and deeply unsettling. The humans, far from being the primitive and technologically inferior beings they had assumed, were a species with a remarkable capacity for innovation, resilience, and strategic thinking. The reports painted a picture of a civilization that had weathered countless challenges, from natural disasters to devastating wars, and emerged stronger each time. Their ability to adapt and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles was nothing short of remarkable. Even more concerning were the indications that the humans had been purposefully concealing the full extent of their technological and military capabilities. The advanced weapons and tactics they had used against the alien invasion force were just the tip of the iceberg. As the council studied these findings, a growing sense of unease settled over them. The humans were not the easy conquest they had envisioned, but a formidable adversary that could potentially threaten the very foundations of the alien empire. The council leader, his brow furrowed in deep contemplation, turned to his lieutenants. "We have severely underestimated these humans," he said, his voice grave. "They are not the backward, insignificant civilization we believe them to be. They possess a level of ingenuity and resilience that may surpass our own." His gaze hardened, and his next words sent a chill through the room. "We must reevaluate our entire strategy. These humans are not to be trifled with. We must approach them with the utmost caution and respect, or risk facing a defeat that could shake the very foundations of our civilization." The Alien Council, once so confident in their ability to subjugate the humans, now found themselves grappling with a new reality, one where the tiny army of Earth had emerged as a formidable force to be reckoned with. The fate of the invasion, and perhaps the fate of the entire alien empire, now hung in the balance. The revelation that the human civilization was far more advanced and formidable than the Alien Council had ever imagined sent shockwaves through the entire alien empire. The once arrogant leaders now found themselves grappling with a newfound sense of respect and caution toward their primitive human counterparts. Convening in an emergency session, the council debated their next course of action. Some argued for a renewed and even more devastating invasion, intent on crushing the human resistance once and for all. Others, however, advocated for a more cautious approach, recognizing the grave risks of underestimating the humans again. After hours of heated debate, the council leader, a being known for his pragmatism and foresight, raised his hand, commanding the attention of the room. "We have made a grave error in our assessment of the human race," he stated, his voice grave. "It is clear that they possess capabilities that we have grossly underestimated. To continue on our current path would be to court disaster." The council members fell silent, their expressions a mix of unease and begrudging acceptance. The leader continued, "We must reevaluate our entire strategy. These humans have proven themselves to be worthy adversaries, and we must approach them with the respect and caution they deserve." Nodding to one of his lieutenants, the leader instructed, "Dispatch a diplomatic envoy to the human world. We will offer a ceasefire and the possibility of peaceful negotiations. If they are willing to engage with us, we may yet find a way to coexist without further conflict." The lieutenant, his eyes widening with surprise, bowed respectfully. "It will be done, my lord. I will assemble our most skilled diplomats and send them to the human world immediately." As the alien envoy prepared for their historic mission, the human forces, led by General Blackwood, remained vigilant, bracing for the next wave of the alien invasion. However, when the alien ships arrived, they did not come bearing weapons, but rather with a message of peace and cooperation. The human leaders, initially suspicious of the aliens' intentions, listened intently as the diplomats outlined their proposal. "We come to you not as conquerors, but as fellow beings seeking to understand and coexist with your civilization," the lead diplomat stated, his voice measured and sincere. General Blackwood, his brow furrowed in contemplation, exchanged glances with his commanders. "And what assurances can you give us that this is not simply another ploy to subjugate our world?" The diplomat raised a placating hand. "We recognize that we have grossly underestimated your people and your capabilities. Our previous attempts to invade your world were born of ignorance and arrogance. Now we seek to make amends and establish a relationship of mutual respect and cooperation." Blackwood studied the alien's expression, searching for any hint of deceit. After a long moment, he nodded slowly. "Very well. We are willing to hear your proposal, but understand that we will not tolerate any further aggression against our planet." The diplomat bowed respectfully. "Agreed. We come to you in good faith, General Blackwood, with the hope of forging a new era of peace and understanding between our civilizations." Thus began a series of delicate negotiations between the human and alien representatives, each side cautiously exploring the possibility of a lasting alliance. It was a process fraught with challenges as decades of mistrust and hostility had to be overcome. However, as the talks progressed, both sides began to recognize the immense potential in collaboration. The humans shared their remarkable innovations in fields such as renewable energy, advanced materials, and medical breakthroughs. In turn, the aliens offered insights into interstellar travel, quantum computing, and other technological marvels. Slowly but surely, a fragile trust began to take root between the two civilizations. The humans, once wary of the aliens' intentions, came to see their newfound partners as allies in the pursuit of knowledge and progress. And the aliens, humbled by their previous defeats, developed a newfound respect and admiration for the resilience and ingenuity of the human race. As the negotiations reached their culmination, the leaders of both worlds came together to sign a historic treaty, formally establishing a relationship of cooperation and mutual understanding. The tiny army of Earth had earned the respect of the alien civilization, and together they embarked on a new era of exploration and discovery, ready to conquer the stars side by side. The historic treaty between the human and alien civilizations marked the beginning of a new era of cooperation and mutual understanding. After years of conflict and mistrust, the two worlds had finally found common ground, ready to embark on a journey of discovery and progress together. General Blackwood, now a revered figure among his people, stood at the forefront of this new alliance. As the human representative, he worked closely with the alien diplomats to establish the foundations of their burgeoning partnership. "We've come a long way from the days when the aliens laughed at our tiny army," Blackwood remarked during one of the first joint meetings. "Now we stand as equals, ready to share our knowledge and technology for the betterment of both our civilizations." The alien council members, once so arrogant and dismissive of the humans, now regarded Blackwood and his colleagues with a newfound respect. They listened intently as the human representatives outlined their scientific and technological advancements, eager to learn and incorporate these innovations into their own society. One by one, the barriers between the two worlds began to crumble. Alien researchers were invited to collaborate with their human counterparts, sharing ideas and exchanging knowledge at an unprecedented rate. Breakthroughs in fields like renewable energy, advanced materials, and interstellar propulsion systems soon followed, as the combined expertise of the two civilizations unlocked new frontiers of discovery. "This is just the beginning," Blackwood said, his eyes shining with excitement. "Imagine the wonders we can achieve when we pool our resources and talents. The limits of our potential are no longer defined by the boundaries of our own worlds." The Alien Council, once skeptical of the humans' capabilities, now embraced them as valued partners. They extended an invitation for human representatives to join the Galactic Alliance, granting them access to a vast network of civilizations and resources. Captain Vargas, Blackwood's brilliant strategist, was among the first to be selected for this momentous undertaking. As she prepared to depart for the alien homeworld, her eyes sparkled with a mixture of trepidation and wonder. "This is a chance to not only represent humanity, but to shape the future of our species," Vargas said, her voice brimming with determination. "We've proven that we can hold our own against the most formidable of foes. Now we have the opportunity to bring our unique perspectives and innovations to the galactic stage." Blackwood nodded, a proud smile on his face. "Go, Captain, and show them the true might of the human spirit. Let our allies and our adversaries alike know that we are a force to be reckoned with." As Vargas and the other human delegates departed for the alien homeworld, the streets of their cities were lined with cheering crowds. The once feared, tiny army had become a beacon of hope and inspiration, a testament to the power of resilience, ingenuity, and the unwavering determination to defend one's home. On the alien homeworld, the human representatives were greeted with a mixture of curiosity and cautious respect. They were ushered into the Grand Council chambers, where they stood before the alien leadership, ready to present their case for full integration into the Galactic Alliance. Vargas, her voice steady and confident, outlined the human advancements in fields ranging from renewable energy to advanced medical technologies. She spoke of the human capacity for innovation, their relentless pursuit of knowledge, and their steadfast commitment to the betterment of their species and their planet. The alien council members listened, their expressions gradually shifting from skepticism to awe and fascination. They had witnessed the humans' tenacity and strategic brilliance firsthand during the failed invasion, and now they were confronted with the full scope of the humans' potential. After a lengthy deliberation, the council leader rose, his eyes fixed upon the human delegates. "We have underestimated your people for far too long," he proclaimed, his voice laced with a newfound respect. "Today, we extend a hand of friendship and partnership. Welcome, representatives of Earth, to the galactic community." The chamber erupted in thunderous applause, and Vargas felt a surge of pride and accomplishment. The tiny army of Earth had not only survived the alien onslaught, but had now secured a place among the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. As Vargas and her fellow delegates returned to their home planet, they carried with them a renewed sense of purpose and possibility. The future was no longer defined by the limitations of their own world, but by the limitless potential of what they could achieve in collaboration with their newfound alien allies. The age of human-alien cooperation had begun, and the destiny of both civilizations was now intertwined, ready to be shaped by the combined brilliance and determination of the once underestimated tiny army of Earth. The historic alliance between the human and alien civilizations ushered in a new era of cooperation, innovation, and cultural exchange. Decades of mistrust and conflict had given way to a shared vision of progress and exploration, with both sides eager to learn from one another and unlock the boundless potential of their partnership. On Earth, the news of the human integration into the galactic community was met with a mixture of awe, pride, and excitement. The tiny army that had once faced the might of the alien invaders had now become a respected and integral part of the interstellar community. General Blackwood, the revered leader who had spearheaded the human resistance, now found himself at the forefront of this new era of exploration and discovery. As the primary liaison between the two worlds, he worked tirelessly to foster a deep understanding and mutual respect between his people and their alien counterparts. "We've come a long way from the days when they laughed at us," Blackwood remarked during a televised address, his voice tinged with a sense of pride and humility. "But our journey is far from over. Now, we stand united with our alien allies, ready to venture beyond the limits of our own world and conquer the stars." Across the globe, the human population eagerly embraced the technological and cultural advancements that flowed from the newfound alliance. Alien researchers and engineers collaborated with their human counterparts, sharing revolutionary breakthroughs in fields ranging from renewable energy to space exploration. Captain Vargas, the brilliant strategist who had played a pivotal role in the defense of Earth, found herself at the center of these collaborative efforts. She traveled between the human and alien homeworlds, facilitating the exchange of ideas and spearheading joint projects that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. "We're not just building bridges between our civilizations," Vargas said, her eyes shining with excitement. "We're creating a future where the limitless potential of humanity and our alien allies can be realized, where the barriers of distance and cultural differences no longer constrain our ambitions." As the integration deepened, the two societies began to weave their histories, traditions, and values into a tapestry of shared identity. Alien cultural practices and artistic expressions found a home among the humans, while human innovations and ideals were embraced and celebrated across the galactic community. The once formidable alien military force, which had once sought to subjugate the humans, now stood alongside the tiny army of Earth as partners in exploration and defense. Joint operations, training exercises, and technological exchanges forged a bond of trust and camaraderie between the two militaries as they worked together to safeguard the stability and security of their shared domains. General Blackwood, observing the transformation, couldn't help but feel a sense of profound satisfaction. "We've come full circle," he remarked to his commanders. "The aliens who once laughed at us now stand as our allies, our partners, and our friends. Together, we will shape the future of this galaxy and beyond." As the years passed, the human and alien civilizations continued to grow closer, their cultures and technologies intertwining in ways that had once seemed unimaginable. Joint space exploration missions, collaborative scientific endeavors, and cultural exchanges became the norm, as the once warring factions embraced a new era of mutual understanding and progress. Captain Vargas, now a respected figure in both worlds, oversaw many of these collaborative efforts, her strategic mind and innovative spirit guiding the way. She marveled at the transformation she had witnessed, from the initial alien invasion to the forging of this unprecedented alliance. When we first faced the aliens, we were a tiny army fighting for our very survival, Vargas reflected, her voice tinged with wonder. And now we stand as equal partners, our combined might reaching beyond the confines of our own worlds, ready to conquer the stars and unlock the secrets of the universe. As the human and alien delegations gathered for a grand celebration, marking the culmination of their journey from adversaries to allies, the once mighty alien commander who had led the initial invasion observed the proceedings from the sidelines, his expression a mixture of humility and awe. "We were so blind," he murmured, shaking his head. "These humans, whom we once dismissed as insignificant, have proven themselves to be our equals in every way. Their resilience, their ingenuity, and their determination have forever changed the course of our history." With a newfound respect and admiration, the alien commander joined the festivities, ready to embrace the dawning of a new era, one where the tiny army of Earth had emerged as a force to be reckoned with, a civilization worthy of standing alongside the most advanced societies in the galaxy.